America's debating the minimum wage. Should it be raised from the current $7.25 an hour? Should it be $15 an hour, as Seattle just decreed? I say it should be $0 an hour. The minimum should be whatever a worker wants to accept. But that's illegal in America. Wait, how could it be illegal? I've had hundreds of employees whom I paid $0. They were interns. They worked for a summer in order to learn something about journalism. Some went on to careers at newspapers and TV stations. Do you know this New York business anchor woman, Joelle Kent? Her first TV job was working as an intern for me when she was in college. I paid her nothing. Why wasn't I arrested? Why weren't ABC, CBS, and Fox prosecuted for allowing me and others to use interns? Because for years, government ignored the old rules imposed by the Department of Labor. People understood that internships can be educational, so lots of schools had deals with employers where we got to try people out and students got experience. Win, win. But then came the Obama administration. His bureaucrats said unpaid internships are legal only if an employer gets no immediate advantage from the intern. It's actually even better if they may be impeded. Sheesh, who wants that? Of course I got an advantage from my interns. That's why I employed them. We both benefited, but that appears to be over. Recently, some interns sued their employers, their former employers. Charlie Rose, not long ago, forked over $250,000 after an intern sued, saying her mom, an employment lawyer, explained her unpaid internship was unethical. Word spread, unpaid internships are vanishing.
This week, the company behind Vogue, Vanity Fair, and several other quintessential magazines ended their internship programs.
Employers lose and students lose. I say that's awful, but Raphael Pope-Sussman says it's good. He wrote in the New York Times, "Abolish this modern-day coal mine."
I didn't choose the title. The issue here is that unpaid internships are anti-meritocratic, and ultimately they're bad business. One
at a time. Anti-meritocratic how?
Well, what you're really looking at when you talk about unpaid internships is a system where people whose families are wealthy and can afford to have their children work for no money over summer while they're going to college.
Not all of them.
Well, not all of them. There are always going to be exceptions.
I had interns, one who worked as a translator.
Sure, there are always going to be exceptions. But the fact is, it's going to be much harder for that person, and many people aren't going to be able to do it. And what that means is, we're looking at a system where the people who are doing the internships, who are getting that leg up and the chance to get into the system, are the children of the richest.
So if the rich can benefit more, it should be outlawed altogether.
The fact is, what Americans want, for 100 years, Americans have said over and over again, what we want is workplace protections. That's why 75% of Americans say that there should be protections against employment discrimination for sexual orientation.
Against abrupt firings, and the result is that more people are unemployed. People don't get opportunities because of all these rules.
3/4 of Americans say that.
I don't care what 3/4 of Americans say.
This is a democracy. Why don't you care it?
What? That's tyranny of the majority. If a million idiots vote for something?
That is not tyranny of the majority. What you are talking about is democracy. Democracy is a system where people vote on what they want. And America is a liberal democracy, which means we have certain rights to protect minority groups.
Maybe I'm just an old geezer who doesn't understand. Let's hear from one of my former exploited, unpaid interns. This is Zoelle Mallenbaum. She recently got a paying job here at Fox after working for me for almost nothing. She got a job with Neil Cavuto, right?
Absolutely.
So did I exploit you? Was it...
Exploit you means give me a lot of valuable experience, teach me a lot.
I didn't pay you.
I got paid, maybe not in money, maybe I didn't get a big check at the end of my internship, but I got so much more. What I got was priceless. I mean, it got me a job here to launch my career.
Oh, but it just favors privileged people. You were going to Wellesley. You're the privileged.
I worked extremely hard to get to where I am.
What do your parents do?
My parents are a lawyer and a doctor, and I supported myself throughout my internship.
All right, I understand
they
that.
did not contribute at all.
I honestly think, and we can probably all agree, you and I are pretty similar. We both went to private colleges, we both came from privileged backgrounds, and we both worked very hard. But the fact is, most people can't get a fellowship. Most people aren't like us. Most people don't come from a family that can afford to have their kid do an unpaid internship. We have had all of the advantages in life, and I'm not even saying Oh,
Let her respond.
Well, no, wait.
If I were a company hiring an intern, I would be much more likely to offer that internship to someone who is questionably qualified, to somebody who came from somewhere that I wasn't sure of, to someone who didn't come from an Ivy League institution like you did. I would be much more willing to offer them that opportunity to rise up if it didn't cost me anything. That's what I do.
Right, I understand, but the point is that
if anything, these internships allow mobility. They allow people to come up who might not be so qualified, who might not be so educated, to come up and have the opportunity to learn, which is what I did at my internship and why internships.
All right, we're not going to solve this here. Thank you, Zoelle and Raphael. Coming up, Common Core, plus popular nonsense from politicians.
I will keep taxes low.
He will bring peace and stability to the United States.
It's time for us to change America.